It's been a very long time since we last did one of these. It's been worth the wait. Welcome everyone to our preview for the 2019 Belgian Grand Prix. It's over. I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief. The Formula 1 summer break has finished. August is almost out the way and Formula 1 has returned. I feel it was pretty quick though. To me anyway, it seems like only last week the Hungarian Grand Prix was, but that being said, can I remember much that happened in that race? Not really, to be honest with you, but we head to Belgium, a track that historically has thrown up a few surprise results, hasn't always been extremely consistent in terms of results, as in it's not been a circuit that's been dominated since the hybrid era, and it's thrown up some surprise podiums, surprise qualifying, definitely some surprise crashes, so I'm looking forward to this one. And just to throw in the mix, I've mentioned it in a few of my mid-season previews, I think Ferrari are going to be the team to beat going into this weekend. So lots to talk about today. As you know, we trialled before the summer break at Silverstone and Hungary a few different, let's say, setups for weekend previews. So today we're doing race preview and predictions tomorrow. Tomorrow on Friday. This is pre-recorded on Wednesday, but tomorrow on Friday, then we're going to do our practice report. So keep your eye out for that. Lots of content coming over the weekend. But your top 10 last time out. Lewis Hamilton victorious for the 8th time in 2019. Max Verstappen P2, a really strong drive from the Flying Dutchman, but it was Mercedes and their unique two-stop strategy that got them the victory in the last race before the summer. Sebastian Vettel went on a similar kind of strategy to Hamilton. He was 3rd, Leclerc P4, and one of my drivers of the day, Carlos Sainz, in P5. Drivers' Championship at the halfway stage. I know it's not really halfway, but you get the gist. Lewis Hamilton, a comfortable lead, is probably an understatement to be honest with you, but a mighty lead over teammate Valtteri Bottas, who now, heading into this second part of the season, is under threat from Max Verstappen. Then come the two Ferraris, Sebastian Vettel ahead of Charles Leclerc by 24 points. Can Leclerc make the difference this weekend? And in Monza, where, as I just mentioned, Ferrari should be the team to beat. But the big name, can Pierre Gasly hold on to 6th for the rest of the season? We're going to be talking about that move a little bit later on in our newsroom section, but I imagine already this weekend Carlos Sainz is going to be sniffing around that P6 position. Kimi Räikkönen moves into P8 after the Hungarian Grand Prix. He is the master of Spa, so it's time for a hot lap. So as we now head over the start straight, plenty of overtaking positions on the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, including turn 1 through La Source, a real make-or-break corner during qualifying and as well in the race, especially on lap 1 as we run towards Eau Rouge and Raidillon. This really is a key moment. Over the past few seasons now, it's been an area of the circuit as we go up the hill and through the Kemmel Straight. It's been an area where teams like Force India, Ferrari haven't necessarily started at the front, but have gained a huge advantage following cars on that opening lap. Through Les Combes, a few crashes and incidents we've seen here over the years. It's not usually been a brilliant position for McLarens over, well, especially the 2010s, early 2010s, but now we head into Sector 2. Sector 1, quite a long straight at the top of the Kemmel Straight and through Eau Rouge. Sector 2, a little bit more twisty, a little bit more narrow, so what that means, not as many chances for overtakes as we go through Pouhon, a lovely sweeping left-hander through the middle of the second sector. But what this means is cars like the Mercedes, like the Red Bull, will be able to make bigger advantages than cars like the Ferrari that's not as good in twisty sections. So as we now end Sector 2 and head through to Sector 3, Sector 3 is very similar to Sector 1. As we're heading towards Blanchimont, long straights once again. Very unlikely that cars are going to be lifting through Blanchimont. Max Verstappen went sort of around the outside of Felipe Nasr through this corner. Lovely section is that one back in 2015. That was, and now as we head down to the bus stop, a big braking zone. In the end, another make or break spot, but another chance for overtakes. And that is your lap, the longest lap on the Formula 1 2019 calendar. Hot lap in Spa. So as we now look at some of the statistics for the Belgian Grand Prix, I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this race, it's a special place, is Spa, we'll say that, but it really likes to sprinkle, well, it just has that little bit of magic. And as you can see, since 2014, the start of the hybrid era, 3 different teams have won the race, 4 different drivers. I can see on screen now that Nico Rosberg has got a little red line next to his name. That is incorrect. He was driving for Mercedes, but Hamilton has won 2 in the hybrid era. Nico Rosberg, in his championship winning year, won that particular race in that season. Sebastian Vettel was last year's winner, and Daniel Ricciardo picking up his 3rd ever Formula 1 victory back in 2014 with Red Bull. Drove a pretty solid race that particular year. 2015 was the first ever Grand Prix I went to, and funnily enough, Romain Grosjean got his last ever Formula 1 podium. So did Lotus, but an incredible drive on that particular day. Last year as well, Esteban Ocon and the Force India cars, mega in qualifying. Ocon P3, Perez P4, and what was even more special is that they'd had an awful summer last year, went into administration, they managed to sort it out and became Racing Point Force India for half a year, so that's why on the screen it says RP Force India, because that's a long, long team name to write on screen. But as you can see in the race, didn't go quite to plan for Ocon, but Perez a P5, really strong job on the day. But Sebastian Vettel won last year's race, hasn't won a race since. I love that statistic in a sense, that's bizarre to me, that he hasn't won for an entire season. But if he doesn't win this weekend, it will actually be a full season worth of races Sebastian Vettel hasn't won. Crazy. Anyway, as we head over to the newsroom, I've picked out 4 stories, 3 main stories, and a story heading into this weekend from the world of Formula 1 over the summer break, because I'm guessing some of you probably had the summer off yourselves, might have gone on holiday, might just not have been interested in Formula 1 over the summer, just fancied a little break. So here are the main 3 stories and an extra one that I have picked up over the summer. The big one, the obvious one, it's been absolutely everywhere. Alex Albon has been promoted to Red Bull. Pierre Gasly has been demoted from Red Bull to Toro Rosso. A straight switch between the A team and the B team. I spoke about this in length all summer long, so if you're just finding out this news now, there are plenty of videos on my channel where I speak about it in depth. This weekend will be Albon's first race for Red Bull, and he seems to be, so far, in, well, I suppose what we've seen in the media so far this weekend, seems to be pretty chill, pretty calm about the situation, and I think for Alex, most of the pressure's off. Because if he doesn't perform next year, he's not in a long-term contract. They've explained that, you know, we're just sort of putting you in to test the waters kind of thing. So I think he'll go well. That being said, I don't think this circuit is going to suit Red Bull that much. So like we've said all season long with Gasly, all Gasly needed to do was get P6 consistently. So if Albon can do that, like we wanted and thought Gasly would be able to do, he'll be fine. So I'd give him a couple of races, especially Belgium and Italy. Aren't really circuits I expect Honda and Red Bull to do particularly well at, but especially Singapore, Japan, Mexico, those kind of circuits, I'm expecting them to do a little better. A couple of days ago, we got the announcement that Spain, Barcelona, the circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, is staying on the calendar for 2020. Quite a bit of uproar online. I'm not really too opposed to this, and I know I'm in the minority. That's an unpopular opinion. I don't dislike Spain. I think we've had some okay races there. It's probably a bit of a selfish opinion because it's one I'd quite like to go to and visit, to be honest with you. So that's more why I'm glad it's staying. But I've said it before, Liberty are trying to aim for a 25 race calendar. So I think as we've seen with Russia, I think as we have seen with, let me think of another new race which hasn't gone particularly well. South Korea is a good example. India, better the devil you know. With Spain potentially. And with Zandvoort coming in next year. With Vietnam coming in next year. If those two aren't brilliant, I think Vietnam looks quite good. But if those two aren't great and we lose Spain and Germany, there'll be big finger pointing. So I'm happy they've kept Spain. I just hope that I hope it's not too much stress for the teams, because that's a huge factor in all of this, and the World Motorsport Council, I believe, are voting on the provisional calendar, and changes still may need to be made if they decide that's too many races. But yes, that is the news over the last couple of days. Also, I believe this time last week we got the announcement of the blueprints, if you will, the design reveal. It's very wishy-washy, but the car on screen, the 2021 car, is the basic design. The cars won't look like this. They'll probably have winglets everywhere. We know designers love to push the boundaries. Obviously, as I have just said with both of these two topics so far, there are videos on my channel covering this in more detail, but the main essence is I quite like it. We can't read into it too much. The main design, the idea, is that it's easier to overtake, that the drivers can be more aggressive, the tyres, not too sure about the look of the tyres, to be honest, but the tyres are supposed to last longer, allow them to push a lot more, not supposed to create as much dirty air, basically just to improve the performance. So at the moment, we can't verify any of that because we've not seen any of them on track, but what we can verify is how it roughly looks, and I think it looks okay. I think it doesn't help the paintwork, and I think when you actually see it with liveries on it, I think it actually looks quite nice. So again, we'll have to wait and see until 2021 or even at the end of next year when more and more designs are being worked on, but I like it. I think it's definitely the right direction for Formula 1, but to be honest with you, we're just going to have to wait and see, and those were the three main stories. If there's anything I missed, please check the comments below, because you guys are brilliant at telling me I've missed a glaringly obvious story. So feel free to have a look in the comments below, or post in the comments below if I've missed anything. And I think the extra story I wanted to throw in is Haas. Now, if you're a more casual Formula 1 fan, which fair play if you are, I completely get it, you might not be aware that Haas have had a difficult season so far this year, so much so, the last 3 Grand Prix, the 2 different drivers have been running 2 completely different cars. Kevin Magnussen has been driving the updated car, so how Formula 1 works is you start off with a car in the first race of the season and you add updates. So, obviously, most of the cars on the grid are running the car with all the updates on. Haas's updates, a bit inconsistent, shall we say. Probably an understatement of the season right there. So Grosjean for the last 3 races has been using the bare bones Australia spec car. Over the summer, obviously, they were supposed to have a break. It's not enforced by any laws or any official rules, but teams are advised to have a break. I doubt Haas very much are having much of a break after the headaches they have definitely had so far in 2019. And also, I don't think they've had a break because both cars this weekend will be using an updated setup. Brilliant for Grosjean fans, brilliant for Magnussen fans, because now they're both on a level playing field once again. And I think both of them, for the rest of the year, are going to be fighting to the wire to save their Formula 1 seats. And I think probably both of their cases, their Formula 1 career. So, definitely good for those 2 drivers, good for the team. And as I say with most teams and drivers, just as long as they can push that car to the max, I wish all the best for them. But my favourite part of our preview and predictions is the predictions. Pretty obvious. I usually go a little bit rogue. Not so much this weekend. Qualifying, I've gone with a Ferrari 1-2. Actually, thinking about it now, I've said I've not gone rogue. I forget Ferrari haven't won yet this year. And here I am predicting a 1-2 in qualifying and a 1-2 in the race. But I just think they're going to be the team to beat. I've been banging the drum about this all summer long. But I was also the guy before the summer banging the drum that they were going to be quick in all these other races. And they are yet to win. There seems to be a bit of a boogeyman on their shoulders this year. But I've gone with a Leclerc pole position, but a Vettel victory. Leclerc P2, Hamilton P3. Alex Albon, I think, won't quite make the top 10, but I'm also expecting a bit of a smash into turn 1. I mean, we all remember 2012, Romain Grosjean, the race banning incident in that particular occasion, contact with Hamilton. Last year, a similar kind of thing with Hülkenberg making a big mistake, going into the back of Alonso over the top of Charles Leclerc, hitting the halo. I think that definitely silenced a lot of the critics at the time. We don't really talk about the halo all that much these days, and I definitely think that was one of the big influences towards the shift of perspective. I don't want to start that debate today. That's brave of me. We had all the summer to do that. We don't want to do that today. Anyway, as you can see on screen, or have seen for the last 30 seconds, your predictions. I'll be showing some of them tomorrow, my favourite ones. So in the comments below, put down qualifying predictions 1, 2, 3, race predictions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put your answers in the comments below. Sorry, I said that a little bit late there, so you might have to rewind the video. Apologies from my end. But that has been your lot for your preview for the Belgian Grand Prix. Formula 1 is back, ladies and gentlemen. We're heading to one of the best circuits in the world, and I don't want to try and hype it up too much, but I can't deny I am excited for this one. We have waited 3 weeks. Formula 1's back in town. I can't say it enough. It just sounds beautiful to hear. Anyway, if you are new around here, feel free to subscribe, covering Formula 1 content, obviously, for the rest of the year, covering plenty of the 2019 Belgian Grand Prix. As always, I want to say thank you very much for watching, and I will hope to see you in the next one.